What is up, Defects? Back for another video, a new type of video today. That's something me and Jay came up with. Before I tell you what it is, I'm going to throw it over to my man, say what up. What's going on, brother?
What is up, Matty Forge? What is up, Defects? Excited for this one tonight. We got a couple of books for you guys. A nice short video of books we've talked about in the past, where they are now, and where they are going. So excited to get into it.
Absolutely. Forgotten Spec. That's what we're going to call this one. So, some books that were hot for a reason. People thought that the character would pop, whether it would be in comics or in a movie or in a TV show. They never did. Now, we're obviously everything is down in the market. We're going to take a look to see how far down and then tell you if we believe that if this book in particular, or the 5 books we're going to show you, will make a comeback or not. Sound good? Should we get started?
Let's roll.
All right. First up, I'll show the book on the screen, but as you could see from the text, Giant Size Defenders, number 3. That is the first appearance of Corvac. Guys, a book that everyone was buying up during, what, Jay, 2020, 2021?
The COVID era, bro.
This character was speculated for a villain for multiple movies, multiple story arcs. People believed in this book big time. A lot of scoopers were basically saying that this character was cast. I think between me and Jay, we got 4 or 5 copies. Like, we were
Yep.
believers in this book, and I'm holding. I mean, at this point, you just got to hold. And just a little word of caution. Yes, we are sellers. None of the books you will see right now will be anywhere near any of our sales things for a very, very long time, if ever. Right? So I could guarantee you that. You could check all of our links. You will see not one of these books on any of our social medias, any of our eBay, whatnot, for a very long time until the character actually pops. Right? Don't buy these books because we're telling you, do some research on your own and then go
Yep.
from there. All right. Just wanted
Oh,
to get
yeah.
want to
Yep.
get that out
No,
of the way.
no pump and dump here, guys. Always do
Correct.
your research. Books you have faith in. Books that make sense. 100%, Matty.
So, yes, I meant to do that earlier, but all good. So, let's get back to Corvac. Let's take a look quick. We're just going to look at some numbers. Like a 9.0, that seems like a good sale because it sold this year. You could just see the graph, man. It's crazy. I mean, this thing spiked all the way up to $750. Clearly, that was the COVID era, but even the rumors started in 2019. You could see this was a $450 book. It kind of fluctuated, but now we are down. Last sale was where we're at, $155. People have totally forgotten about this book. Even in 2016, I think there was a little bit of rumor. This was a $300 book. Came back down. Look, it's less than $150. Kind of right back to where we were prior
Yep.
to the rumor starting in 2019. So a little bit about Corvac, the connections. I'll talk about the connection. We don't have to give a whole bio. So the reason to believe that maybe this book is past, it ties to Grandmaster, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, and the Collector. Those characters are all in the past already, more or less. The Avengers, kind of some characters that he has ties to that we haven't seen yet, but we expect to see: Galactus, Silver Surfer, and then the Power Cosmic. Right, that's how he gets his kind of godlike powers, is from the Power Cosmic. So we know Silver Surfer, Galactus, Corvac. So we could see him in the future, or maybe his time has passed because of those, especially the Guardians of the Avengers. That's where we thought we were going to see him as a main villain, and we didn't. So, like I said, just taking a quick look at the graph, we don't want to get too deep into the numbers, just kind of visually look. Yes, this is a book that spiked because of speculation. Here was the speculation, and now it's dead. Do we believe in this? I guess I'll go first since I'm talking about this one. I'm going to say, I'm going to say the time has passed on this book. I don't think I think it's a good book to have. I think it's a good book to have in your collection. I think it's a nice Bronze Age key, early bronze. We may get a little rumble of a rumor again with the Galactus Silver Surfer news. I just don't know. I think Marvel and MCU is kind of trying to pare down on what they're doing. So this is a kind of like a not a character that a lot of people know. So I hope he shows up because it's a dope character. But I'm going to say I got a better than 50% chance belief that he won't. So long-winded answer, but what do you think, Jay?
I don't think it ever comes back to what it was, and I don't think we see him. And I think if we do see him, he's a minor character, guys. And I think everybody's hip to the game now when it comes to minor characters in these MCU movies. It pops a little bit. Do I think we'll ever see him in the MCU? No, I don't. But if we do, it may spike a little, but it'll never go back to those 2020 numbers. And I'm going to be saying that often in tonight's video.
Jay, first up for you, brother.
All right, guys. A book that everybody was talking about during WandaVision, Silver Surfer #3 from 1968, that dope Bashima cover, the first appearance of Mephisto. First appearance, first cover. Amazing cover, right, Matt? Awesome.
Sick.
Orange, red cover. So what was fun about WandaVision was we were watching every episode, and that's when Specking really got hot with all these minor little Easter eggs they were throwing in there. Everybody thought we were going to see Mephisto by the end of the series. We didn't. He wasn't even really alluded to be honest with you. But talk is that Sacha Baron Cohen will play Mephisto coming up, and rumors are a Mephisto special is filming right now, along with the Agatha Harkness show. Do I think we'll see him? I do think we'll see him. I do think it's going to be Sacha Baron Cohen. I do think he'll do a knock-up job. We'll look at some numbers, right, and compare and see if we think it'll go back to where it was ever. Obviously, you could see there at its high. Matt,
Yeah,
when was
about
that?
a little over $2
Yeah.
grand in 2021.
Yeah, in what grade? In an 8
This is an 8.0. We're at an 8.0. Yeah.
Yeah, so about 2 grand, guys, and you could see, guys, that was all during the height of the actual show, and then you could just see it dropping down each week, each month as the episodes went on, and he didn't pop up. Now we're at not an all-time low, but I mean
630 was 630 was the last sale, but it is above a decent amount above like kind of where the average is prior to, this was like a $400 book, so it still held some value, Jay.
Yeah, listen, it definitely held some value, and I think the reason behind that is because everyone knows that this character is eventually going to pop. And guys, I got to be honest, I don't think any one of these books that we're talking about today is going to hit those 2020 numbers. That was a time in comic books where the MC was dropping shows and movies, COVID was going on, people were spending money, all-time highs. I don't think we're going to see that all-time high for any of these books tonight. And like I said, I'm going to repeat that for every book we talk about, basically. Do I think it comes back up? Yes, I do think it comes back up. I think it comes back up a little bit, but maybe in that $1,400 to $1,500 range. But that's about it, Matt. I mean, the MCU is struggling right now. Comic book fans know that. Movie fans know that. So, your opinion on it, buddy?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. And I think, and again, this is a new type of video, so we're going to kind of hone what we talk about here. But I think on top of, hey, does this character come back? Does this book reach where it was? I think also is, going back to the Defenders book, is now a good time to, like, some people just want to have these books in their collection, not for spec. Like, is now a good time to buy? And that's probably a question we should answer too. With the Defenders book, I would say yes, because you're back down to the prices prior to the rumor. So that means it's stable at that price. It's going to move with the market. There's nothing pulling it up or down at this point other than the market. It's kind of the same thing goes for this book. It flattened out. 630 is the low for basically the last 4 years. So I do believe this character is coming. I do believe this book will pop a little bit. And I do believe if you want this book just as a PC book, it actually could be a good time to buy. So I'm with Jay on this one.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you're going to buy it, guys, buy it soon before we see, a trailer with him in it, another Easter egg with him in it. But definitely a good time to buy this book. I mean, listen, it's a Silver Surfer 3 from 1968, right? We talked about it's that dope Buscema cover. It's a first appearance, first cover of a major Marvel antagonist. So, looking to clean and press your books before submission? Well, look no further than the best in the business, Erod 212 with Express Comic Book Pressing Service. Defects 10 gets you 10% off.
Erod will submit your books to CGC and CBCS and pass along his discount. Hit him up on Instagram or email expresscbp@yahoo.com.
All right, guys. Next up, coming in at the number 3 spot, Fantastic Four, number 272 from 1984. For those of you that might not know this book, this is the first time we see actual action. I'll explain that. Nathaniel Richards, the father of Reed Richards. Okay, so it's very convoluted. We do not have enough time in this video to go through the history of Nathaniel Richards as it ties to time travel and Kang the Conqueror, but know that there is ties to Kang. A variant of Nathaniel Richards is actually Kang the Conqueror. So one variant is Reed's father, another variant is Kang the Conqueror, and they rewrite the story a couple times in comics, so it's very complicated. This is a book that really, really jumped. And for good reason. It was a cheap book. This was a $4 or $5 book. And then people realized Kang and Fantastic Four are coming. And this book really spiked. So let's take a quick look at the numbers. Let's look at the 9.8 because that's a good price for this book. I mean, you could see this was a $676 book at its peak. Prior to that, it was a $75 book. Now we're back to $95 last sale in a 9.8. There's a couple books for Nathaniel Richards. I think the book right after this, 273, is his first cover appearance. People were buying that as well. So I'm going to cut right to the chase. I think, again, if you want this book for the PC, raw, or a 9.8, it's a very good time to buy because you're basically right back to where you were prior to the rumors. So to me, that means it's a good, stable number to buy at for the PC. If you're looking to invest, I do believe in this book. I'll jump ahead. I do believe in this book jumping back up because the Fantastic Four is coming. I do believe Kang is still going to be around in some capacity if they recast or do something, or maybe Nathaniel Richards becomes the Kang that kind of takes over the role that was left by the departure of Jonathan Majors. I think this character has somewhat of a halfway important role going forward. Could be a couple years from now, so don't expect immediate returns like for this book to pop back up. But I do believe that this book will see some gains. Again, I'm with Jay. I don't think you're going to see it at $600-$700 anytime soon, if ever. But I do believe this is not a $95 9.8 come 3-4 years from now. So to use an old phrase that we used to use, cold key, Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, cold key. But you know what, Matt? I got to be honest. I don't have much faith in this book.
Okay.
For a $95 book for a first appearance 9.8, that's always a steal, guys. A 9.8 for any first appearance is, I mean, hedging the bet in your favor, in my opinion. Do we get Nathaniel Richards? I don't think so. Do we get
Interesting.
maybe
Okay.
talk of him? Possibly. But again, he has major ties to Kang. He has ties to Doctor Doom. But I just
Yes.
don't think it's a character we see moving forward in the MCU based on comic history. They kind of steer away from, they keep it mainstream a lot in the MCU, right? They'll throw in the occasional obscure character, but I don't believe we'll ever see a Nathaniel Richards in a Fantastic Four movie.
Okay. The only reason I have faith in it, and not to go too far on this, we could do this in a live show, but I think the family aspect is something they're going to focus on. You're going to have Valeria and Franklin, so maybe you do get the grandfather. Defects, we got another coupon code for you. It is for comicbookexclusives.com. Our buddies over there are dropping fire exclusives each and every month. Go check them out at comicbookexclusives.com and use code DEFECTS for 20% off your order. Make sure you're following them on Instagram as well because they are showing off all the covers that come out on a weekly, monthly basis. Let them know the Defects sent you.
All right, guys. Last up, Static from 1993, DC Milestone Comics, guys. A little backstory. Static is the first black superhero to star in his own cartoon series back in the 90s. Awesome book, awesome story, iconic character, right? But it's also the appearance of Hot Streak, his main villain. Um, October of 2020, we had Michael B. Jordan in talks with Warner Brother Pictures and producing a live action Static movie. That has sizzled down since then. But in April of 2023, James Gunn did say he was going to introduce milestone characters into the DCU. If you're introducing milestone characters, you can't start with anybody else but Static, in my opinion. This book, again, another book that had movie news during COVID and spiked during COVID. This is the one book in this whole list that I believe will come close to what it was, because it is such an iconic book, guys. And don't forget, you have the blue variant, you have the newsstand, and then you have the platinum edition in this book. But we're going to just talk regular cover A. Matt, all-time high was
All-time high was 460 in 2021, as far as I could see.
okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So movie news came around when Michael B. Jordan was talking about producing this movie was October of 2020. So it did spike up, a little bit, but I mean, out of all the books on this list, guys, you could see this pretty much maintained the same and kind of just it wasn't drastic, spikes and drops. I mean, I love this book, guys. This is a book you could definitely find raw, still in back bins. You could definitely find this book in flea markets. I have about, Matt, between the both of us, we have to have about 15 copies of this book.
Right.
The variants, I think the only one we're missing is the newsstand. I don't have a newsstand. Matt has the platinum. I have the blue variants. This is a book I could see James Gunn doing, and a character like this Spike Man. I mean, I have more faith in this book than any other book on this list, as I said before.
Yeah. I'm pretty much with you, man. I think that, and again, I'm gonna be. We do have copies of this, so I'm gonna say I hope, right, for my investment's sake, because we bought a lot of these as investment. Keep a couple for the PC, of course. That this book goes higher. I do actually have faith that it will, because I think if James Gunn is headed in the direction that we think he might, and the power shifts between the MCU and the DCU, and you have a diversified, a want for a black lead superhero. I think this could really be it's probably the only book that has a chance in the next 5 to 7 years to be higher than that $440 mark. This is, like Jay said, not a drastic shift. $144 right now for a first appearance. It is a 90s book, but I is it a good time to buy right now? That's a tough one to answer on this. I think it really comes down to, as you, the collector, do you believe in this character on the big screen? If the answer is yes, now's the time to buy. If you're skeptical, then now's the time is no. So this is a little bit harder to answer. It's more of a personal opinion kind of one.
Yeah, I mean, to me, if James Gunn does this right, this is going to be DC's Miles Morales moving forward. And I know it's a book from the 90s, but Miles is a book from the 2000s. So that makes no
100%.
difference to me. And if he kills it on screen, this book is going to spike, guys. They are heavily printed. That is the thing. The platinum is probably the book to get if you're looking to invest.
All right, last one on the list is an interesting one. X-Men 107 from 1977, the first full appearance of Starjammers as a team. Man, again, another team, another group, another couple characters that we could spend a ton of time talking about. Quick backstory. So where are the connections? The connections. Let me start here. The connections that have already happened are the Kree and the Skrull. There's major connections to that. We've seen them in the MCU already. The connections that haven't happened yet, X-Men, obviously, the She-Ra, which have been rumored for the MCU for a long time. The She-Ra, is that how you say it? Shi'ar. And then the Phoenix Force. Who else? Vulcan, which is Cyclops' younger brother, which has been a character that's been speculated on quite a bit. And then the Annihilation Wave, which Jay and I believe, well, at least we used to believe, is something that they could or should do in the MCU. Who knows what's going to happen now? So a ton of connections for this team, and then specifically some of the members of the team. The Shi'ar, I can never say this. The Shi'ar have major ties to like all over the place. So if you get them, there's a good chance you get the Starjammers. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit because it's sounding like I do believe in this book, and I do. So let's take a look at some numbers. Again, definitely some spikes. This was a little bit of a deeper cut. I'd say people more in the know were buying this as opposed to kind of mainstream or part-time collectors. But even so, you could see the spike because people really did believe in this book. It was $1,000 book in a 9.4 back in 2022. So it it had some peaks and valleys. You could see even during COVID, it had some ups and downs. Prior to some of the speculation and rumors, you were at $300, and now you are at last sale $350. So you're pretty close to pre kind of market explosion. Once we do hopefully get the X-Men, that's going to be its own kind of, I don't want to say its own universe, but that's going to have its own storyline, just like the Avengers. And you're going to have these little offshoots, and you're going to have a lot of different stories going on within the X-Men world. And I think this is a good candidate. Maybe not a super major team or characters, but I definitely could see this book starting to head back up once you start to get X-Men and we get like that two steps away from a team. People start thinking ahead, like, okay, since this character's in, then maybe we should think about these next two characters. I could see this book gaining off of that. So I'm a believer. I believe we at least have a mention, if not see them in the MCU in the next 5 to 7 years. So this is a book that I would start buying again if I were looking to have it for my PC or investment purposes.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Well, first of all, it's classic X-Men, right? And it's a classic X-Men team. Like Matt said, X-Men can go in so many different directions. At a price like this, I think it's a great time to buy. What else you have, Matt? The Broad. You have Sauron's probably down. All these X-Men
Savage
villains and characters. Again, we talk about obscure characters, guys. We'll see where it leads. I think by the end of Deadpool Wolverine, we'll have a better idea of which direction the X-Men are going in with an end credit scene or mid-end credit scene or whatever you're going to see. So, like Matt said, man, just a great book to have in your PC if you're a big-time X-Men fan and you're looking to get it at a good price right now.
And speaking of Deadpool, for those of you that stayed to this point in the video, we'll drop a little nugget that I heard today, is that Deadpool 3 will feature the Savage Land. So do with that as you will, all right? All right, guys, that wraps up the video. Like we said earlier, make sure we're just analyzing some of the numbers. We're giving our opinion. Make sure you're doing your own homework on these books. Decide if you want to invest in these books. Decide if now is the time to buy these books for the PC. Either way, we're just laying out some information. We're giving our opinion. Then you guys should be doing that, your own homework to get to that purchase or not get to that purchase, all right? So, guys, new videos every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up for us. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think of these books. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're putting out new videos. And then every Tuesday night, join us over on eBay Live. It's been a blast, guys. We are eBay Live auctioning. The link is going to be down below. If you're watching this video on a Tuesday, that means tonight at 9:15, right after Very Gary, we will be running an auction. They've been a blast. They're Defect style. Don't bring your kids to these auctions, that's for sure. So
definitely not.
Definitely not. All right, guys, until the next video, later.